What's up, YouTube? It's Unruly, and I'm going to do a review on Ready Player One. And I just saw it a few days ago, and I've read the book. So this review is going to be kind of, at first, it's going to be a non-spoiler review. Towards the second half of the video, I'm going to do a bit of a spoiler review because I'm a very big fan of VR. At the very beginning, before I even tried it, I was like, oh my god, VR is just gonna suck, it's gonna be lame. It's not gonna be a thing. It's a fad. It is the new kind of Wii. It's gonna be a fad. And the very first game I played was Job Simulator, or Work Simulator, and oh my god, I was like, this is amazing. This is the future. This is the future. And then, fast forward a little bit later, I played games like Super Hot and played games like Resident Evil 7, which is now one of my top 3 favorite video games of all time. It could probably be my #1 video game experience of all time. It was phenomenal. And yeah, so that's why I'm like, okay, cool. And that's why I think I enjoyed Ready Player One so much, because I'm a huge fan of VR, and I was just thinking, man, this could be a possibility. I mean, it's still early, but so let's get started. Now, like I said, I've read the book, but I'm going to keep that kind of review kind of separate towards the spoiler part. But overall, the movie is very entertaining. You're going to go over there, you're going to get a large bucket of popcorn, you're going to get yourself a soda, and you're going to be entertained. And it is a lot of fun. I had a blast in the theater. Okay, now let's talk about the book a little bit. It is very much like the book, where it is kind of rushed. Like there's I think the romance in the movie is a bit rushed. It happens super quick, and it kind of takes a little bit more time in the book. But like now that I go back to thinking, because I did reread the book right before I watched the movie, and the book is a page turner, but it is kind of hokey, and it's not too much of a bad thing. And the movie was a little bit hokey, and some of the dialogue was hokey, but it doesn't stop it from being just an enjoyable movie when you're sitting there just looking at this world of the Oasis and like, wow, this is awesome. And I had a blast. And I think the movie was 2 hours and 20 minutes, but the movie felt so short to me. It just blasted through. I could not believe that it was a 2 hour and 20 minute movie, because it was just moving so fast. And I think it's because I read the book, because normally in the book all the things that kind of happen are really spaced out, and there's a lot of story in between said challenges and such like that. So to me, the movie blasted by. And I think another thing too, I was watching the movie, but I was also just watching everywhere, and I'm like, oh my gosh, trying to find as many Easter eggs as I can. So it's kind of more comfortable for me to do the review like this. I can't see anything, but why not just do the review in my PlayStation VR glasses? But the movie does go by pretty fast. And what other things, like the actors, they were all great. I don't really have any problems too much with any of the actors. I'm trying to think of some of the problems that I had with the film. I mean, the film, it is great. It goes by way too fast for me. And I'm trying to think. There's not too many problems I had with it. I mean, if you just go in there and just expect to be entertained, you will be entertained. I did listen to a lot of reviews before, I think, and I think they were talking about the main villain. And to me, you know what? He was good, but everyone's like, oh my god, he was such a good villain. He was such a good villain, and he was such a good corporate villain. But I wasn't disappointed, but I was like, oh, he's all right. He wasn't as good as I was expecting it to be, because I went into this film without watching any trailer. I think I watched the very first trailer and I said, wow, okay, this is going to be very different from the book. So then I didn't watch any of the trailers, but I did listen to some of the reviews before I watched this movie. And with that said, I mean, I think this movie takes a lot from the book and kind of changes up a lot. But overall, this movie is a lot of fun. I'm gonna watch it again. I'm gonna go try to look for all the Easter eggs and the characters that I didn't see, and so forth. So with that said, I mean, like it's enjoyable. I can't figure out any much more else to say about it, but it's a blast, guys. So if you go to the theater, buy yourself a bucket of popcorn, buy yourself soda. I'm cutting back on soda, so I kind of just drank some water. But you know. But anyways, guys, so now we're going to talk about the book. We're going to talk about the book and the movie, and we're going to get into spoilers in this part of the review. And so just because the book and the movie are very, very different, it doesn't make the movie like bad. Like, there are some things in the book that I wish they would have explained, put in the movie, which I think would have helped the movie. And there were certain things that they changed that I said, okay, you know what? That is kind of more exciting. That is pretty cool, because from the moment they start the movie, they get into the first key challenge pretty quick. And that's something I kind of wish that they didn't really do. Like, okay, guys, we're in spoiler territory, but I said it before. In the book, the challenge, like the first challenge, is found in a school, and they show school life, what it would be like in VR, and I was like, and I thought that would have been pretty cool to kind of like to capture in the film. But if you go with what the book did with the whole race, it was an amazing sequence. They start off with an amazing action sequence to really get you into the film and to really get you like, dude, this is the Oasis. Anything can go on in the Oasis. It's a crazy place. So I think that, I mean, it was give and take. I really wish they would have done what they did in the book too, because in the book, when he finds the first copper key and gets the scoreboard, everything goes crazy. The Oasis go crazy, and there's newscasts and there's everything, and people are going like losing their collective ish over him finding. And I think that's something they didn't really capitalize in the film. They didn't really go in there and like, I mean, because like in the book he was anonymous, so they only saw his gamer tag, so nobody knew who he was. He was anonymous, and the Oasis was going crazy, and I think that's something that they didn't really capitalize on. I think it's like, and I think that's something that I kind of really enjoyed in the book, because there was newscasts and everything like that, and you know, and of course they skipped the whole thing where he gets money from endorsements and moves out of the stacks and everything. But I really wish it would have played with the scoreboards more, because the scoreboards, and I think in the book, were really important. And I think the whole back and forth the entire time of the book and the scoreboards was really important, and you don't really see that at all. I think, to me, it was like, oh my gosh, you know, Parzival is in the top, and you know, who is this person? What's going on? And wow, like, I think that was something that I really enjoyed in the book, that they kind of didn't really, like, the scoreboard was up there, but it wasn't really a thing. And you know, especially when he gets to the top of the scoreboard and all of a sudden he's in second place, and all of a sudden he's like not even on the list, and then you see, you know, the Sixer, the main bad guy Sixter, score right on top. And I think that is just something that's just pretty cool, and they kind of didn't really kind of go for. So that was my kind of nitpick. And I guess number two is they had the high five kind of team up a little too soon. They kind of teamed up like immediately, and like in the book, they didn't team up at all, really, like especially for the first couple of keys until the very end where they actually had to team up. And I think it's just like, oh hey, wow, I just met you, boom. Of course he kind of gives Artemis a hint in the first key in the book. You know, he's like, hey, you know what, you've been having trouble, try playing on player 2, and he gives her a little hint and stuff. And so that was, I think they teamed up just way too soon, and to me the romance was kind of rushed, but that's what you got to have in a 2.5-hour movie. I think there should have been a little bit more of a chase and cat and mouse game. And another thing, I don't know if it just kind of I liked how IROC was still in the movie, but I kind of like how it was in the story, where how IROC was like, yo, dude, he was a poser, and he's like, and he's the reason why everybody started finding the first key, because he was blabbing about like, hey, you know what, Parzival, I know this guy, this kid goes to my school, this kid, yeah, man, he like him and H, they both go to the same school as me, like, you know, they're just like a district over, but me and Parzival, and they're like, wait, school? Okay, so that's how everyone starts finding the copper key. So them teaming up very early on kind of threw me off. Then finding the keys and then kind of like there was no really other challenge it kind of threw me off, but that's just kind of nitpicky right there. But I'm trying to think of anything else that would kind of throw me off. But overall, like, the book it's a fantastic read. It's a page turner, but the second time that I gone through with it, I'm like, okay, it is pretty hokey. It is, you know, there's some stuff that's like, but you can't put it down. It's a very fun read. And another thing that I'm kind of sad about is the final battle, is because, you know, as if you read the book, you know, for one of the challenges of the key, you get to choose a secret prize, and you get to choose a very secret, like, you get to choose a mech, you get to choose a giant robot. So I'm kind of bummed that there was only kind of like Mecha Godzilla, Iron Giant, and there weren't a couple of more like, hey, you know what, we gave the first people at the gate these giant mechs, and would have made for an awesome final battle. But the final battle was really cool, was awesome. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, no, it was pretty cool. I wanted to see more mechs. Another thing that kind of got to me was there was no, like, and this goes back to the whole scoreboard of the game, and how when they found the copper key, it's like, oh, they just found it, and I remember in the book there was all these battles that happened every time a copper key was found. Oh my gosh, every time a copper key was found, boom, dude, here comes a cavalcade of people, of grunters, and the IOI, or the Sixers, and they had all these kind of battles in there, and it was like, holy cow, the second key is over here, and then, you know, the Sixers would try to block it off, and there would be some kind of battles but then maybe that would make the movie take a little bit longer. But I think that's something that they kind of should have capitalized a little bit more, to kind of just show you that how close the Sixers were behind to Parzival and the team, because, and like by the second thing, you don't really see them get the keys, you don't really kind of get to see the score. And I think that's another thing that's like, you kind of should have put that in the movie. It's like, oh wow, look at that, it seems right now the Sixers are in the lead, they found the final key, and yeah, that's something they kind of really do. And then, like, and, you know, of course, going back to the book, they found the last thing, and they were trying to crack the code, and they couldn't crack it for the longest time. And you know, like I said, I guess there's limited amount of time in the movies, so they couldn't really kind of show that whole process and everything like that. And one last thing that I'll talk about in this review is that in the book, I think one of my favorite sequences, is when Parzival, or Wade Watts, gets himself thrown in jail on purpose. But now in the story, it is it's the lady. She gets thrown in jail, and, you know, Parzival, or Wade, has to kind of help her get out of it. And it's like, oh, and that whole thing where the guy just had his password sitting on top of his crazy haptic chair. I think it was, or I think it was, that was kind of lame. In the book, it was pretty badass, like, plan. I was like, yo, that was kind of sick, because I guess in the book he gets himself thrown into the whole almost slavery, and he's like, all right, I got a plan. And he, you know, he's like, he bought some passwords to the system, and then he gets himself thrown in jail. He's like, all right, here's how I'm going to stop that orb. I'm going to stop it. I'm going to get myself in there and get thrown in jail, hack them from the inside, because that's the only way they can hack. I think that was a fantastic plan that I wish kind of he would have done, because it shows that he's not only a badass in the Oasis, he's also kind of a badass in real life, and I think that's something that they kind of dropped the ball on, and then I guess, but that's the way they changed the book. And like I said, it is a book. And if I go back, like, it would have been pretty badass if, like, I think for new IPs, Hollywood's probably a little bit scared to take a chance. I mean, if this would have been like a trilogy, kind of like Back to the Future, it would have been fantastic, because we know there was a lot of Back to the Future in this, and it would have done pretty well justice to the book. They could have explained more of the world, show more things, but the fact that this movie got even made is amazing. The fact that it had like all these characters, everything like that, it was super rad. Like, as another Realm fan, it was just awesome seeing all these, like, seeing Jason, and Jason looking like he's fighting just like in Mortal Kombat, and, you know, seeing some of the Mortal Kombat characters in the background, and Goro come out, and I'm like, this is super awesome. And literally there's a fatality from Mortal Kombat in the game where the chestburster comes out, and it is pretty rad. I mean, if they could have, if Hollywood was like, you know what, let's do this, and we have Steven Spielberg, it could have been like the newest Back to the Future trilogy. It was a great, exciting movie. It was fun for a one-shot movie, but other than that, that's kind of my short analysis between the book and the movie. And hopefully, if you guys are here, if you read the book and seen the movie, you guys want to join in the discussion and let me know what you thought. I love reading the comments. If you haven't and just said, hey, you know what, I just wanted to get spoiled, or I saw the movie, I don't really want to read the book, so I just kind of want to watch this video. But that's it right there. Just some stuff that's off the top of my brain of what I thought of the movie compared to the book. They're two very different, but what they did in one movie was pretty dang good. There is things from the book that they put in there as little services to it, but yeah, no, it's overall, it's a pretty fantastic movie. I want to go see it again, and I'm definitely going to buy this on Blu-ray so that I can pause it and be like, oh, look at Sub-Zero, oh man, look at, you know, certain so-and-so, because I'm telling you, most of the time I was watching that movie, I kind of wasn't paying attention to the actors, because I was looking all around and seeing who was, oh man, who's that? Oh, look at dude, there's Blanca back there. Oh, dude, that's Doc, hey, it's Doc Brown. And maybe, but I know if I watch it again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to be looking in the background and everything like that. But anyways, guys, that's my kind of short review, 18 minutes, not too bad, of the book and the movie. Overall, I'd say go get them both. I think, and then the last thing I say, the book is, there's two reviews. You love the book or you hate it. And because, you know, I'll talk to some of my buddies at work, at the office, are like, oh my god, that book was just struck, that book. And I think, and I just have to say, it's just, well, now it's a movie, but before, this book was only something that could happen. Like, you could only get this adventure in a book, where you get so many crazy references and so many cool things that it could only happen in a book. And that's why I appreciated the book, because I'm like, dude, all these things, I love all these like things, and like literally like for this to come out on the big screen and to get so many characters from different series and stuff like that come out on the big screen was amazing. Was really cool, and so I'm grateful for that. But the book is a little schlocky, but it is fantastic. It's a good read. You can't put it down, and someone who loves all that stuff, you will totally get a kick out of it, guys. Well, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget, let's start the discussion in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and peace.